Welcome to the Medicine Tree Center. My name is Lev Natan, and today I'm going to be engaging this question, what is sacred business? And in order to engage this question, we need a little historical context to really understand where business as usual came from. So we're going to look at what is business as usual and what seed was planted for business as usual to sprout as it expresses itself in the world today. And then we can look at where sacred business comes from and what was the seed that was planted for that to come into existence. So business as usual comes from a lineage, a historical lineage of an ancestral perspective in humanity that's patriarchal. There's a patriarchal worldview that sees the masculine as dominant and more valuable than the feminine, and in seeing and with that worldview comes a sense that humans are here to dominate nature and to take from nature whatever we want without concern for the sustaining and the resilience of nature in the future. And so that's a history that you could even say began with the agricultural revolution 10,000 years ago, but it really kicked into a new high gear, you could say, during the Industrial Revolution about 500 years ago. And as the British Empire and imperialism and colonialism went out into the world and went and began gathering the wealth and the resources from the earth all over the world, and simultaneously, in order for that to happen, for the natural resources to be utilized, there was a requirement or a need for people for this worldview to also to suppress and oppress and to push aside any worldview that actually valued nature in a harmonious or more balanced relationship with nature. And so the cultural and spiritual traditions that had this reverence for nature and a relationship, an active relationship with nature that saw nature as intelligent and conscious and alive and not just inert object to be used however. Those cultural and spiritual traditions were suppressed and pushed to the side, and there's a lineage hand in hand with the business as usual paradigm is a lineage of genocide and cultural and spiritual suppression. And so what we see here now and where are we? Where has that brought us? We have a business as usual economy that has put the health of our natural environment at risk. We have global warming, we have toxicity levels that are affecting human health at an alarming rate, and we also have so that's directly connected to the plundering of our natural environment, and then we have a convergent crisis in meaning. What is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of me being here? I'm not having a sense of meaning, and that has to do with this disconnection with our ancestral lineages that are connected to the mystical and the shamanic and spiritual traditions that were suppressed during this the growth of the business as usual paradigm. So that is a little bit of context. And so sacred business is is a perspective that is addressing these convergent crises of the issues with the health of our natural environment and the crisis in meaning and the purposefulness of the work that we do at a root level. And so the foundation on which sacred business grows is first an acknowledgement and an honoring and a valuing of our inherent relationship, interdependent relationship with nature. And the second piece, which goes hand in hand with this interdependent relationship with nature, is an honoring and an appreciation and an acknowledgement of the need for us to be aware of our inner nature and the balance and the valuing of both our masculine and our feminine aspects in our humanity. And that comes from a reweaving of our connection with the mystical and shamanic traditions and lineages of our ancestors all around the world, of all human beings, both within the Western tradition and in traditions from all around the world. And so this is the foundation on which sacred business grows its vision in the world. Our interdependent relationship with nature and our reweaving of the fabric of connection with the mystical and shamanic traditions of the world, of our human ancestry. So from here, what vision emerges? I like to use this example of the Titanic, right? And so in terms of leadership and the business as usual economy and the leadership that is charting the course for the business as usual economy is much like someone on the deck of the Titanic pointing at the iceberg and saying, "Look, our economy is headed for an iceberg." And that doesn't occur to me as true leadership, because anyone can say, look at all the problems in our world and say we're headed for an iceberg. The sacred business culture and economy, what we're bringing forth is a leadership with a different vision. And so it's as if the sacred business leaders are saying, seeing the iceberg ahead and going into the captain's quarters who steers the ship and grabbing the wheel and doing everything in our power in a way of intelligence and inspiration to chart a new course, a new vision. Say, we're not going to hit this iceberg. We're actually going to turn the ship and create a alternative vision. Not just an alternative vision, but we're going to anchor ourselves and chart a different course. And so that takes a tremendous amount of power and energy and rootedness in a different vision, a vision that's diametrically opposed to the business as usual paradigm, and it's rooted even more deeply than the history of the business as usual paradigm, and that history is thousands and thousands of years old in our human relationship with nature and in our lineage of earth-based wisdom traditions in the mystical and the shamanic lineages of our human ancestry. And so from here, this is why I talk about the old growth economy, because it takes strong roots in those traditions, in our relationship, our active relationship with those traditions, in order to bring forth a real vision that is genuinely and sincerely different than the business as usual trajectory that is being presented. And so what does that look like on a practical level? I've put together the foundation right now to be rooted in our connection with nature and these mystical and shamanic traditions. And next week I'm going to share with you the vision that I have and that I'm actively creating for the Medicine Tree Center, and how the center is a center for integrative health and evolutionary leadership, and how it addresses at the root cause the convergent crises of our time that I've just been speaking about. So thank you so much for listening as I go step by step sharing with you this important work that is happening here at the Medicine Tree Center, and I look forward to continuing this dialogue with you next week, where we'll focus specifically on the vision of the Medicine Tree Center. And my hope and my intention, my clear intention, is that the vision that I lay out and share with you next week will give you a perspective or a worldview that will empower you to step forward and to step with both feet into the worldview and the vision that you have and that you are developing in your work. So thank you so much, and I look forward to continuing this conversation.